Hello. If you're like me and you live in a metropolitan city where you have to commute to your work between 2.5 miles to 5 miles away each day, taking the car is not an option due to parking problem. So the best option you can do is take the public transportation. The problem with the public transportation is it takes somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour to get your work. So in that case, you can have another option, which is biking there. But biking there is not a proper solution due to the fact that after the bike ride, you're going to be ended up sweaty and stinky, not a proper hygiene. So I went ahead and looked for another solution, and I believe I found it. So hold on, let me show it to you. Let's go. This is Ancheer branded DYU-D1 folding electric bike. It is more like a scooter. Let me show you a video of my ride and discuss about it more in details. By the way, this is not a sponsored review and I bought my own bike. So this review is going to be my own personal opinion. First, the feature. Their advertised range is about 12 miles. But I'm not so sure about that because in my case, I would get about between 5 to 7 miles before the battery is depleted entirely. That is of course considering the weight of the rider and the path of mine is a bit uphill. Their advertised speed is 12 miles per hour and I would have to agree with that. As you can see, the ride speedometer on the left, I do get about 22 kilometers per hour, which is about 12 miles per hour. You can unlock a bit more speed after riding about 10 kilometers using their app. Speaking of the app, keep in mind that everything in this app is written in for kilometers, not for miles. So wherever it says miles, just read kilometers. Not sure if it is just me, but I found that connecting to the Bluetooth of this bike using the app is a bit tricky and sometimes require multiple attempts. But once connected, you can control the speed between 1 to 30 kilometers per hour. You can lock the bike, you can see the speedometer and you can see the total distance that you have traveled with this bike. You can set the front light to turn on automatically or manually. You can see the amount of charge you have left on your bike and many other features. I definitely love this bike, but there are some flaws that I'd like to discuss. First, I wish the battery was modular or at least upgradable. That way, you could add more powers to it than just the 4.4 amp that it comes with. The charging port, while I understand where it is, but I wish it was located in more accessible area where you won't have too much trouble finding it. The protective flap on the charging port is extremely cheaply made. It does the job, but I'm afraid it may not last long. I'm also afraid that over time the throttle twist is going to break off. It just feels very cheap. When screwing on the foot pegs, they both tighten counterclockwise. When riding, this presents a problem as the right foot pegs falls off often. If both would tighten forwards of the bike, then it wouldn't have happened. Folding the seat or easy to take it off would have been a better option for the riders. The rear disc brake, while it works, but if you are going fast and pull the brake, the bike skids. If there was a front brake as well, this wouldn't have happened. The factory horn and the light is not just powerful enough. When I got my unit, the rear disc brake was just a bit bent. The wheel wouldn't just move. So I had to take a plier and fix it myself. The pros of this bike just outweighs the cons of this bike. So I love it. I mean, it is definitely worthy and not a gimmick. Now let's take a closer look at the bike. This bike has an on and off switch to turn it on. I have attached that horn and light myself so not to tax the main battery. You have enough space on the handlebar to mount a GoPro, and that is the cruise control button, and this is the battery meter. The battery meter is not very reliable, and this is where the brake is at that controls the rear disc brake. Behind that brake is the rear wheel mounted 250 watts brushless motor that propels the bike. This is where you fold the handlebar, and that is the front headlight that comes built in, and that's my light. This is where battery, ESC and Bluetooth parts are stored, and that's the rear tail and brake light. The saddle that this bike came with was extremely rough, so I went ahead and installed an aftermarket saddle with a spring, especially since the bike doesn't come with any suspension anywhere to absorb any shocks. This is how you fold the handlebar, and as you can see, this is so light and compact that you can store it in your car trunk. This bike is so compact that I put in my office cube and anyone even hardly notices it. My wife, who never rode a bike in her entire life, look at her riding this bike after first 2 minutes. Now look at her as she goes. Some more footage of her riding the bike in a reduced speed, of course, for the safety of her own and others around. At the end, I would definitely recommend this bike in a heartbeat to anyone, especially for the price. Again, this is not a sponsored product review and solely my own observation. Thank you for watching this review, and if you like this, then be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.